DJ Big Rip, we working, y'all watching.
Hype Hour Radio.
Nothing like that. Music just is music for me.
Yeah.
There was times where I was literally like pretty much homeless. Like there was a situation where I had some roommates. They had moved out. I had no idea where I was going. I literally locked myself in my apartment. Like I could hear them banging on the door, trying to tell me to get out because I was getting evicted or whatever. And like I just had the door locked, and all I had was my music. I'm sitting on a mattress, a box spring. I got all my clothes in the closet. I got my music. That's all I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like I felt like I was abandoned. I was too prideful to go run to my dad and tell him what was going on or whatever. So I was like, all I got is my music. And so anytime I ever get in a situation where I feel like I can't run to nobody or I don't want to be a bother to somebody, I run to the music.
You run to the music.
Yeah.
So you like to create during that time, or is it music, certain music that you like to listen to, or whatever?
I don't. If I'm really just like down and I can't figure out what's going on, I don't create because I don't want the music to come off as super negative.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be like I don't want nobody to hear the music that comes from that and be like, man, this dude negative. I don't want to hear that. I listen because other people listen to music to get away from their problems.
Yeah.
I don't want to make the music that's going to remind them of their problems.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do want to make sure that I make songs that help them know that you're not the only one going through it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remind you, you're not the only one going through it, but I don't want you to be like, yeah, life sucks. You're about to lose your car, your girl don't want you, your kids calling another nigga daddy, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not going to make songs like that.
Yeah.
But I want to make music that, like, I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, bro, I was scrolling through my phone or Pandora was playing and this song by you came on and, like, I just needed to hear it at that moment. It was like, okay, that song found you when you needed it the most. And that's how art in general should be. It may not hit you right now, but at some point, you're going to really need it, and it's going to come back, and you're like, damn.
If you're making some thought-provoking music for folks.
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
sure.
If all you're talking about is robbing and killing and slinging drugs and your ops and stuff like that, I don't think there's ever going to be a point in time in my life where that's going to hit me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll listen to some super ignorant shit going to the gym.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
turn that up real quick in the headphones. But it's like, if I'm chilling with my kids or my people or something like that, like, that's not what I'm going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. Like, I caught my daughter singing backwards by Best Show in Town the other day, and I was like, "What did you say?"
Yeah,
she was like, "It's that song you listen to." I was like, "Don't say that around your mama. don't repeat that around your mama because I'm gonna be in trouble."
How many kids you got?
Just two.
Two?
One boy, one girl, 10 and 5. Well,
10
my
and
daughter
5.
will be
Okay.
6 in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
She's like 5 going on 15.
How long you been married?
I've been married for 9 years. It'll be 10 next year.
Okay. Yeah, congratulations, bro. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Family is something that, you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna say I've mastered, but I've been doing for a long, long time or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that regardless of how the hip-hop community treat me or how life treat me, you know what I'm saying? If I can look at them and I can gauge how good of a person I be by looking at my wife and my sons or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying?
No matter how shitty life is outside of the house, when you walk in the house and, like, I walk in the house and my daughter's sitting there or my son is sitting there, my wife is sitting there, like, all that stuff just gets left at the door. Like,
yeah.
What's going on out there, I'll pick it up and handle it when I leave the house again. But while I'm here, family is what's
Family is what's first.
Check it at the door.
Yeah, for sure. So how you saying that, you know what I'm saying, how do you figure your family, your wife, you know what I'm saying, are they very supportive of what you're doing, you know what I'm saying, musically or whatever?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have the support, because then I'd always be getting nagged. Like, you always in the office recording, you always doing something music related. Like, never do I get that.
Yeah.
My son be at most of my shows. Like, it's a lot of pictures out there. Like, even if you Google me, you might find a picture where, like, my son is in the picture somewhere. Like,
yeah.
He's always there. My daughter knows the appropriate lyrics, or she might know all the lyrics, but she won't repeat everything. But they're always at my show. My cousins, my dad is pulled up. Like, my dad's a pastor, and he's liable to pull up at the show.
So you're a PK preacher's kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
He gonna pull up, sit off in the cut, and he just ain't gonna bother nobody. He gonna be there. My aunt's a minister. She was at a show. Like, they really support what I do because they believe in it. Like,
yeah.
All of the gifts are a gift from God, whether I'm doing Christian rap or I'm just rapping or whatever.
For sure.
Like, using the gift that I've been given instead of just being able to, oh yeah, you can make some words rhyme, but can you tell a story and still make it rhyme? Can you put it to the beat and not rapping super off beat or nothing like that? So it was a gift, and they support me. They was like, as long as you use your gift to further whatever it is you're doing, you're not just wasting it, we're gonna support it.
Yeah, that's one of, I remember the first time I moved to Fort Worth by then, but I got booked for a show back home. And I'm from East Texas, from Texas County, and me and my partner in rhyme at that time, we got booked at a pretty big show. And my dad, when I came in, and we pulled up at the crib, and he said, I guess he was off or whatever. He said, he gonna come. I don't know if I invited him or whatever, but I just remember that being the first show, and it was a huge show. And he came, and just to know that my daddy was out there and he got to see it, because he knew I rapped or whatever, but he had never been to, you know what I'm saying, no show before, and that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, for sure, for my daddy, because my daddy was always been a breadwinner. He set the family up, you know what I'm saying, so we could be who we were. And you know what I'm saying, for him to see that and understand what I really had going on, that meant a lot, for real.
Yeah, I mean, and even for me, like, my dad has been to maybe like 2 or 3 of my shows, but it don't matter if the crowd was big or if it was him and like 15 other people, like, just having them there. Because like, my dad do a lot of stuff. He got a lot of stuff going on between the church. He does like boot camps and stuff like that because he's a personal trainer and things like that. When he has the time in his schedule and he's not taking that time off to like rest and catch up on rest because he's been doing so much, and he'd rather come spend that to watch me perform.
Yeah, for sure.
That means a lot because I know he got a lot on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and like I write songs and I mention stuff about him in it, and I let him hear them, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I like that," and stuff like that. But like seeing me perform it just hits different because then you can feel it more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on every project I do, I'm going to mention something about him or something that I learned from him or whatever in at least one song.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, it's usually like the intro, the first song of the album, get it in there, set the tone, and then they'll be like, "Man, you said such and such about your dad. Is that true? Ask him." He like, my dad is on social media too. He'll chime in and be like, "Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?" And then it's just a bunch of back and forth. So a lot of people like to put stuff in their song like, "Oh, the teachers told me I wouldn't go be shit. My mama didn't want to this, that, and the third." It was like, anything I say about anybody in my family, if I put it on Facebook, they gonna come in and verify.
Yeah, they gonna fact check.
I don't even have to tag them. They gonna fact check.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That was always my biggest thing, is like, if I'm gonna incorporate my family into what I do, it's gotta be true. Because somebody somewhere, whether I make it huge or I stay local, whatever the case may be, somebody gonna try to come and fact check it. And I want them to be like, "Oh, that shit Diggs said, that was true."
So when you when you've been wrecking parties, you know what I'm saying, while you was full of them spirits or whatever, when did you decide to say, "Well, man, I need to go to the studio and I need to try to lay this down for real"? When was the first time you recorded for real or said, "Okay, I'm gonna try to do this," you know what I'm saying, on a professional level? I'm gonna go to the studio and I'm gonna want to lay something down for real.
So I met this dude at church. He went by, I think he still goes by K Wonder. And he was rapping. Him and his brother were doing some stuff, and he was the first person to show me SoundClick. And he was like, "You can get beats from here."
I remember SoundClick.
Yeah. And like, he introduced me to like Johnny Giuliano's Superstar.
Giuliano.
Yeah,
he used to have them beats.
Yeah, Johnny
for
J
sure.
was on it, and
Forgot
like he
him.
showed me that, and I had like this little netbook, and I had Fruity Loops on it. And he showed me how to like kind of try to like make a beat or whatever. So I sat there one day, and it was back around the time like the whole like West Coast like jerk movement was going on, and everybody was like making that same style of beat. So I sat down one day and I sat there and tried to make a beat, and then I wrote a song to it, and I was like, let me find somebody who like really got a studio to go to. So by this time, through club promoting, I had met some local Fort Worth rappers, and I hit up one of them. I was like, "Hey bro, like, where's a studio I can go to?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you this dude's number." So he gave me this dude's number. His name's Menace. I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, this person sent me to you. I want to get some studio time." He was like, "All right, bet, pull up." So he sends me the address. It was literally like 2 blocks from where I was living at the time with my parents.
Wow.
Like, I could walk to his house to go to the studio. I was like, "Oh no, this is too easy."
Yeah.
So I pulled up. I gave him the beat, and he was like, "What is this?" I was like, "It's a beat that I made. I'm not a producer, but I tried it. I got in there. I rapped it, and it was so stupid." But after having to listen to it so much during the mixing and the mastering of the song, he was like, "Yo, that shit's kind of catchy."
Yeah.
And it was a dumbass song about a scooter, just like being out there on a scooter. Like, it wasn't nothing fabulous or whatever, but that was my first song that I did.
How old were you and what year was this?
This was 2010, so I just turned 21.
Okay, 12 years ago.
Yeah, so 12 years ago, my scooter, and like, I had planned to shoot a video. Like, I wanted to throw a house party and everybody be on scooters and just mobbing through the street and shit like that. But it didn't pan out. I didn't end up doing it. But it was just cool because then I took that and took it to all my peoples that I was running to at parties and stuff like that. I was like, yo, I really made a song. Like, whoever playing the music, turn it off real quick. Listen to this. And, like, at the parties, people were like, yo, that shit is dope. They might have been lying. It could have been the spirits that was feeling it.
Yeah.
But it was still cool because it's like I wasn't doing it to impress them. The drunk freestyling maybe, but that I wasn't making to impress them, and they still were just like, yo, that's dope. Like, he actually went to a studio. Like, to people who don't know what all it takes to make music, hearing your song, like seeing it in an MP3 file on a phone is the most legit shit that they could ever see. Like, even nowadays, like, somebody send me a song, I like it, I download it, put it in iTunes, throw a little cover on it or whatever, and show them, be like, yo, I got this song on my phone. They're like, damn, it's on iTunes? Where can I find it? I was like, no, it's in my iTunes because I put it on there. But I made that song. I think there was one other song that just, like, disappeared on me that I made. But I would say, 2010, shortly after my homeboy passed, it was, like, when I really got into a studio and tried to make something work. And then,
after Sammy G passed.
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, because he was doing, like, he had some songs that didn't get finished. Like, he had one called Baddest Bitch Walking that he did with Montana. He had another one that he did with Fat B from DSR that he never got to finish and stuff like that. And, like, none of us felt right going behind him and trying to finish those songs because we didn't feel like we could deliver it the way that he wanted. Like, we had his lyrics, but none of us wanted to go back and try to finish it. So we kind of just left them as is.
Yeah.
But we all, I mean, I went off and kept doing some stuff. And, like, the other couple of dudes that was in the clique, they, like, one moved back to Cali. The other one is just off living life or whatever. And we still stay in touch or whatever periodically. But they still hit me up and was like, yo, bro, like, I'm glad to see you still doing it for Sammy G, etc. And then, like, we had these little chains because him and J-Star, they called themselves the Young Thundercats. So they got a little logo made that was like the Thundercat logo, but it had a star around it. And Sam had this giant logo on the back of his car. Like, he had a Pontiac Grand Prix with this giant logo on the back, Lambo doors, super black tint, like big ass subwoofers in the back. Like, when we pulled up, he would always be playing his song. So when he lifted the doors up, and everybody's clearly paying attention because why he got Lambo doors on a Pontiac, and the song would be playing, and he'd hop out with this big ass fucking Thundercat chain on. They were like, "Who are y'all?" Like, people really thought we was doing something.
Yeah.
Like, nah, because at the end of the day, he got to turn around and go home. He worked at Just Signs or Fast Signs or something like that. I was working at Sprint at the time, and like, we was some regular dudes until it was time to pull up at the club. And then we pull up like we was somebody. Yeah,
for sure. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, we took fake it till you make it to a whole nother level. With, like, people, we were in so many clubs between me with them and me with my buddy Ali. Like, back when, like, B-Hamp and all of them and, like, the boogie movement was moving through. Like, we would hit the club every day just about. And it's like every club we would pop up, the same artists that were much bigger than us would be there, and they'd be like, bro, I just seen you at Purgatory.
Yeah.
I just seen you at Cirque. You was just at M Street, Buddha 9, this, that. And they were like, y'all are everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I ended up with the name Young Famous, because they were like, we see you everywhere.
Yeah.
I went to work one day after clubbing at Purgatory, and some chicks walked up with this dude, and the dude's like, hey, that's that dude from Purgatory last night. That dude is famous. So I'm like, no, I'm not, bro. I'm at work. You trying to buy a phone or what? Like, keep it moving. But it all just kind of spiraled from there. Like, if it wasn't for Sam taking me to that in-house studio, like back in late 2009, like, I probably I wouldn't be where I am right now as far as music is concerned.
Yeah.
So
from my scooter to, you know what I'm saying, what did you do next, you know what I'm saying, to being, to fill all that in to
my
me.
scooters.
From going to there to me finding you and 10 years later, you know what I'm saying, what kept you doing it and saying, like, hey, I think this is something that this is going to be my main hobby, you know what I'm saying, that I'm going to try to capitalize off of.
I just kept trying to get better because I didn't feel like I was that good at it, but I was good enough for the people around me. And back then, like, I didn't know there was a music scene in DFW. Like, I didn't know there was one in Fort Worth, rather. I was out in Dallas. Obviously, I knew of, like, Duro, Lil Will, DSR, like, all of them dudes, they was all in Dallas. So I was like, okay, it's a music scene there. Not really anything going on in Fort Worth, so I was always out in Dallas with it. And I wasn't doing music, but I was always around these artists trying to, like, just network. Like, them the cool niggas. I want to be over there where they are. And then after I, like, put together my scooter, It was like August of 2010. I got my first show at this little bar in Fort Worth called Froggy's Boathouse.
Yeah,
Smooth
shout
Vega,
out to Froggies.
Yeah, Smooth Vega put me on that show. It was the first time, and I had never performed before. I was drunk as hell when I got on that stage because I was nervous.
Yeah, yeah.
And like the only original song I had was My Scooter, but I had some remixes that I had done with my little cousin Cameron. So I had a remix to Roger That, the old Young Money song. I had a remix to Beamer Benz and Bentley. At some point, I did a remix to Rude Boy by Rihanna. Like, I just kept doing remixes because I didn't know anything original to do. So I just kept doing that. Put out a little mixtape. It was called Starstruck. And I was just going to go through this whole process of figuring out, like, first mixtape was Starstruck. The next one was, Anywhere But Here. Then it was Detour. And, like, I had this whole idea of what I wanted to do. And the first album that I put out was called Uncrowned King, because it was a lot of niggas talking about, oh, I'm the king of this, I'm the king of that. And it was obviously after the King of the South debate, but it was like local people was like, I'm the king of Fort Worth, I'm the king of Dallas. And like in the intro to that album, it was like, it ain't no kings in this game. It's a fucking democracy, because people gonna vote on who they think is the best. It's a popularity contest.
Fact.
Just like anything that people gonna have to vote on. Like, I may not be the best, but I know 1,000 people that's willing to say I'm the best. You know 5 people that's willing to say you the best. So who really gonna end up as king is gonna be me, because I got more people that's willing to claim it. So I'm like, it's a democracy. So I did that album.
Yeah, this is the Hype Hour Radio with Big Rip, home of the hottest rising indie artists. And I'm 7 the Great. Keep it locked.